I knew my career was in jeopardy the moment a calendar invitation appeared for a corporate restructuring meeting. After 15 years of dedicated service to the organization, I was suddenly facing a major threat to my livelihood. Preston, the arrogant son of the founder, walked into the room as if he owned the entire building. His handshake was weak and slippery, signaling a complete lack of real substance or professional respect. During my long tenure, I successfully navigated the company through countless strict audits, major corporate reorganizations, and difficult budget cuts. I spent my days printing thick regulatory binders and tracking subcontractor clearances with absolute precision. My spotless compliance record was the only reason the business secured massive federal contracts. Yet, this inexperienced young executive believed he could replace my decade of expertise with trendy automated software. Preston sneered during his presentation, stating that my traditional methods were far too slow for his modern vision. The human resources representative sat in silence, refusing to meet my gaze when I asked if this was a formal demotion. Within 2 days, my spacious office belonged to a loud young consultant, and my new desk was placed directly in the main lobby. Preston smiled and claimed that serving as the receptionist was a highly strategic role. From my new seat at the front desk, I quietly watched the office descend into absolute chaos. Preston replaced our experienced legal counsel with his college friend, Vance, who drafted documents that violated basic legal standards. The newly appointed contract operations team did not understand federal procurement regulations at all. I chose to maintain my personal documentation in a leather notebook, recording every single mistake they made as they mismanaged our pipelines. My assistant, Brenda, was supposed to submit my renewal forms for the Certified Procurement Officer designation. Because of the transition chaos, she completely forgot to process the critical paperwork. I received a system notification warning me that my certification would expire in less than 3 weeks. I looked at Preston boasting in his glass office and decided not to click the renewal link, allowing the countdown to continue in absolute silence. The federal database still listed Victoria, my actual name, as the primary contract officer of record for the primary project. According to the strict terms of our largest agreement, the entire $340 million contract would face immediate suspension if the primary officer lacked active credentials. I did not need to actively sabotage the company to teach them a lesson. Their own arrogance and negligence had already created the perfect trap. The inexperienced analysts spent their days trying to simplify complex federal compliance guidelines into colorful charts. They treated serious audits like marketing campaigns, printing useless pamphlets instead of gathering real data. Preston constantly walked around the office demanding that everyone repeat empty catchphrases about operational readiness. I continued to decline requests to sign updated financial annexes, knowing the ultimate authority remained tied directly to my name alone. A respected external auditor contacted me directly on a professional networking site to confirm my attendance at the upcoming review. He expected to see my face at the negotiation table because my name remained on the official system. I replied with a brief message stating that I would be present for the evaluation. I then closed the screen, poured a fresh cup of coffee, and prepared to watch their fragile house of cards fall. Late one evening, the telephone on the reception desk rang, displaying the number of the company founder. He asked if I was still managing the crucial federal renewal, sounding incredibly anxious about the upcoming audit. I informed him that while my name remained on the paperwork, his son had officially reassigned me to the lobby. The founder was completely silent for a moment before hanging up, leaving a thick cloud of tension over the empty office. The day before the official audit arrived, panic finally erupted within the legal department. Clara, a bright young paralegal, noticed the glaring discrepancy in the system logs and realized my certification had expired at midnight. The team suddenly understood that their entire operation was completely invalid without my active credentials. The Director of Human Resources, Beatrice, rushed down to the lobby with sweat on face, desperately begging me to join a private meeting. In the quiet conference room, Beatrice and Clara pleaded with me to renew my certification immediately to save the contract. Arthur, the stressed young analyst who had taken my duties, looked like he was about to collapse from the intense pressure. I calmly explained that since they had stripped away my access and reassigned my responsibilities, I no longer held the authority to act. I refused to rescue them from the disaster they had created. The morning of the audit was filled with desperate attempts to project confidence. Raymond, the veteran federal auditor, arrived early and recognized me immediately as I sat behind the reception desk. Preston led his team into the main meeting room, carrying his laptop with smug confidence and telling me to sit this one out. I simply smiled, watched the heavy wooden doors close, and waited for the inevitable outcome of their ignorance. 20 minutes into the presentation, the entire upper floor of the building fell completely silent. The elevator doors opened, and Arthur emerged with a pale face, clutching his empty folders in terror. Raymond followed him downstairs, his expression completely blank as he prepared to deliver the final ruling. Preston and his legal team trailed behind him, their confident posture entirely gone as they realized the massive scale of their failure. Raymond announced that because the primary contract officer lacked active credentials, the $340 million contract was officially void. The founder screamed through the speakerphone, demanding to know how such an oversight could happen under the watch of his son. Preston stammered, trying to blame the transition process, but the federal database did not care about corporate excuses. Their primary source of revenue had vanished in an instant. I walked into the chaotic meeting room, handed Beatrice my formal resignation letter, and stated that my departure was effective immediately. I informed their legal counsel that I possessed detailed records of my system exclusion, which I would gladly share under a formal subpoena. I smiled at the ruined executives, wished them luck with their new team, and walked out of the building forever. After midnight, the entire system locked them out permanently. The founder arrived in a panic that night, immediately dismissing Preston and suspending the entire incompetent operations team. By the next morning, the office was empty, and the once proud business was facing a massive federal investigation. I sat in a quiet neighborhood tavern, enjoying a cold drink and watching the rain fall against the window. My phone began to buzz with lucrative job offers from rival firms who actually valued my rare expertise. I realized that I did not need to fight a loud battle to prove my immense value to the company. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to simply step back and let incompetent people experience the direct consequences of their actions. They built their entire success on the assumption that my silent labor would always protect them from their own ignorance. In the end, they learned that the foundation of any business is the people they choose to underestimate.